Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Good to see Gimel, Pashas Tetzaveh. We're actually learning a part or a portion of a letter the Rebbe sent to people, to a group of chavrusas or a chabura, a group of people learning together Mishnayos, finishing something I think it was Tamid, Seder Moed, Chagiga. The Rebbe is sending them a letter with like, so to speak, congratulations, but explaining it in connection with our parsha, what we can learn. And as we said before, how we can internalize the message that is teaching us for our day-to-day lives. So that was going on to this whole thing, but the whole discussion over there is Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim about Mizbeach and Cheshes and Mizbeach Hazav, the golden Mizbeach and the copper Mizbeach. And it says those don't need to be tabled in the mikvah because they ain't Mekabim Tumah. And the discussion between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim is why don't they become Tumah? So the Rabbi Eliezer says because they're like offer. They're like dirt, just like dirt, it doesn't become tumah. So too, these things don't become tumah. And the Chachamim say it's not because it's like dirt, but because it's only coated. The gold or copper is only coated. So we're in this whole discussion that everything in Torah is Hira B'Chaim. Torah is a book of lessons of life, and we have to understand how it applies to us. So what does it mean to us? So essentially, what's the Mizbeach is the us. As a whole, we are a mishkan or mikdash, and we have different kelim, different parts of us. We have the seichel, we have our intellect, we have our emotions, different ways that we live our lives and we express ourselves. And interaction, there's different parts of us. And it couldn't be, unfortunately, sometimes one of those things get dirty, get soiled, when we're not behaving when we're supposed to, it's not being expressed the way it's supposed to, it's unhealthy. But we always have Mizbeach, and that's sort of the message we're saying yesterday. We always have Mizbeach, and Mizbeach is something that's always connected to the Hashem, and Mizbeach always wants to do the right thing. It's the Bittul Yid. It's that nafesh kiss, it's that connection we have with Hashem. As the Fidik says, a Yid doesn't want to be separated, uprooted from godliness. We always want to connect to Hashem. We see ourselves and we don't do things the way we should. We're not always acting the way that shows our connection to Hashem. That's not a true essence. We're not truly that person. That's just the Yetzer Hara coming, taking us away to do these things. But essentially what we want to do is the right thing. So that's what we're after. So, the Mishnah tells us, Shehei noisam shehem b'chinas mizbeach hazav Hashem v'hei neilu shehem b'chinas mizbeach anacheshes anim. Whether a person is mizbeach hazav, a golden mizbeach, which synonymizes a person that is rich, or the mizbeach anacheshes, the cup one, which is talking about a person that's poor. Kasher heim nizkarim shehem b'chinas mizbeach. But we have to only remind ourselves. We are Mizbeach. What's the Mizbeach? The Mizbeach is the Bittul Yid. Mizbeach is the person, is the part of us that wants to be connected to Hashem. Always, and we never want to separate ourselves from Hashem. Or in other words, we just have to tap into the reality, the emes, which is that we always want to be connected to Hashem. And we're good. The emes is we're good. The emes is we have an nefesh kiss and we're connected. The only thing we need to do is to connect ourselves with that. Meaning the inner desire, v'hamiti, and the true desire. Our true desire, we want to bring up, sacrifice our Yetzer Hara, bring it up to the Mizbeach and elevate it, and we want to fulfill the rest of Hashem. That's what we want to do. You're going to say, but I know myself, and I've seen myself, and I can go for days without wanting to do the Torah mitzvahs. That's not true. That's not the reality. That's just the Yetzer Hara. The reality is you do want to. And that's the lesson we're learning. We just have to remind ourselves. I do want to. It doesn't matter what the reality that my eyes are showing me. That's not the true reality. And the proof The proof is very simple. We're just fortunate enough to live in society. We don't have to worry about it. But if someone comes to you and say to you, "Hey, don't do a mitzvah, or if you do a mitzvah, I'm going to hurt you, I'm going to kill you," you're going to run the serious nefesh. The whole story of Purim. The Alter Rebbe explains that if the Yidden would have given up on Yiddishkeit, nothing would have happened to them. But none of them even have a machshavas chutz. None of them even had such a thought. Even though you're going to ask yourself, what do you mean? But the whole situation that came in Purim was because they weren't behaving properly. They went to the feast of Achashverosh. They weren't behaving like a mensch. They weren't doing Torah mitzvahs properly. That's just the Yetzer Hara. When it comes to the reality, like it says in Tanya, the only way we're able to do Averis is because we think we still stay connected to Hashem. When we realize through the Aveira we disconnect, we can't do such a thing. And this is what we're saying. We have to realize the reason why we're doing the things that we shouldn't be doing, we know we shouldn't be doing, we do it anyway, it's because we get fooled. But the reality is we always want to be connected. So like we said in the beginning, the question of the class, are we good people doing bad things, or are we bad people doing good things? Of course we're good people. Our Ratzon is to do Ratzon Hashem. So for sure. I see myself most of the day doing not necessarily all the Torah mitzvahs I should be doing. That doesn't make me a bad person. That just means I'm giving into my Yetzer Hara. But who am I? Be'etzem, the Nefesh Elokis. The Nefesh Elokis always wants to connect to Hashem. So therefore, if we realize that essentially it doesn't matter, or whatever situation comes about, and we're not behaving the way we're meant to do, the only thing we need to do is, like he says, and we have to remind ourselves that we have a mizbeach. See, like he says, kasher heim nizkarim. When we remember that we have a mizbeach, it reminds us we always want to be connected. For sure, want to be connected. And therefore, as I am kalbim tumor, then we go and receive tumor. Like we said in the beginning of the question, beginning of the class, the shaila in the Mishnah is the discussion between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim is the mizbeach, zav, and Beth and Cheshes doesn't makabel tumor. And now the question was why. But the point that I was saying here, we can learn on a deeper level that as long as you have the mizbeach, as long as you of course you have it, as long as you realize you have the mizbeach and you tap into the mizbeach, you're not going to makabel tumor. You're good. You're never going to be too bad. Meaning you're not going to get given too much. You're always good. Why? According to Rabbi Eliezer, the reason why you don't become tamei is because you're kakarka. What does it mean to be kakarka? Like ground. Just like the ground, everyone they walk on it. I feel like we say in the end of Shemona Esrei. My soul should be like dust to everyone, to whoever they be. We said in the end of Shemona Esrei. So therefore, if we look at ourselves that way, therefore we don't have any of our own separate desires, but the desire which Hashem revealed to us in His Holy Torah. I want to do what Hashem wants. Meaning we come and the unfortunate reality of what happens to us now is there's Torah mitzvahs, what Hashem wants from us, and then we have what I want, whatever it is that I want, and the two separate things, unfortunately. And what we're saying is, if you have the bittul, the nafshi ka'afal kaltiya, it doesn't mean, like we've said many times, bittul doesn't mean I'm a nobody. It means my machshavas and my thoughts and the way I act is in line with Hashem. I'm connected to Hashem. I've worked, and it's a progress, but I'm working on having myself in line with Hashem's directives. When I ask, what should I be doing? What does the Torah want me to be doing? Not let me fulfill my obligations of Torah and then I'm free to go and do whatever I want. But what is Torah wanting from me? And it could be Torah wants me now to take a break. Torah wants me now to have a rest. Torah wants me now to read a book. Torah wants me now to go play. But that's the bittul. And when we have that bittul, why doesn't it makabel tumah, like we said, is because of the bittul. And so too with us. The key to tapping into the nefesh elokis is to having the bittul. It's like we say here, ein lehem kol ratzin atzmi. What does it mean, essential ratzin? It's my own ratzin. I don't have any of my own ratzin. It doesn't mean I don't have any desires. but I don't have any separate desires from Hashem. Ki'im haratzon shigil lanu. My ratzon is what Hashem. What's my ratzon? What does Hashem want from me? That Hashem revealed in Torah. Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus. This is the words of Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus. Anik Rabbi Eliezer Agado, which was called Rabbi Eliezer Agado. Haya shakul k'neged kol chachmei Yisrael. He was in weight equal in stature to all the chachamim of his generation. Ba'alaf Gdulasain, even though he was such a great person, you can imagine he's equally weighed. How much of a chashuv guy he was. But what happened? Loi tafas kol makim be'enei atzma. In his own eyes, didn't take up any space. Until, like the words of the Gemara, he didn't say anything he didn't hear from his rabbi. Meaning he wasn't trying to be a chacham. He wasn't trying to be, let me show I know something. I have to know something. He didn't have that. He didn't care about himself as a separate entity of Hashem. It was all Eibishter. It's all Hashem. And therefore, because of this beautiful way he looked at himself as nothing separate but Hashem, so then when he looked at someone else, he saw the same thing. What did he see? He see the Bittul Yid. A Yid could be doing the wrong thing. But what does he see? So what do we see? Unfortunately, we see someone doing something wrong. We say, oh, you see, they're doing something wrong. And we start judging. Because why? Because we don't have this level of Nashi Ka'afa Koltiya. We don't have the Bittul. We don't have our Ratzin. We're not working on having the Ratzin to be in line with Hashem's Ratzin. But whereas Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus that he did, even though such a big Talmid Chacham, which he had plenty of space to make himself chashuv, but he didn't. It was all about the Eibishter and the Pnimius and this idea of Bittul. So therefore, when he saw someone else, he saw that Pnimius as well. He saw that nefesh al kiss within every yid. He saw the right and he saw how Hashem, the Torah, the Yid, the Torah, and Hashem are all one. Kikol chaya adam hem kiyum Torah mitzvahs. The whole life of a person is essentially to fulfill Torah mitzvahs. V'limud, v'limed, l'talmidav, v'saderech. And he, not just he did this in the way he saw people, but he also taught his students this way. Lefia hasechol ha'otzem b'yeser ba b'yachad im ha'izbatlus muchetes. So he had this beautiful dynamic of, on one hand, he was a big Talmid Chacham, he was very smart, very wise. But together with that, which would bring him in a situation, he had a lot of covet and could be a lot of respect, it could have, so to speak, gone to his head. But together with that, he had this bittul, his battles. It wasn't about him as a separate entity of God. It was all about connection with the Eibishter. Fish adava miskat mishtakef. Like we have the famous saying of him that he never said anything that wasn't in the name of his teacher. Meaning he didn't try to give himself all this credit because he wanted to make himself into somebody. It's all about what he had learned. So I think we'll stop here and tomorrow we'll finish it off. We still have to explain what is the Chacham Shita. We're discussing the idea that we say the reason why the Mizbeach doesn't makabel tumah. We said that the reality is the Mizbeach, whether the Mizbeach Hazav, Mizbeach Necheshes, the golden Mizbeach, or the copper Mizbeach, whether it's the person that's poor or the person that's rich, they have a Bittul Yid. This Mizbeach is a Bittul Yid. It doesn't makabel tumah, and this is the essence of who we are. But the question was, why doesn't makabel tumah? In the Mishnah it says, or Eliezer says doesn't makabel tumah because it's bittul, because it's like afar, and we discussed what that means. That one way, the reason why we don't come to it, because we always connect. We understand it's all about Torah and mitzvahs into Hashem. It's one way how we bring it out. And tomorrow we're going to learn the Chacham's opinion, which the Chacham's opinion said it's because it's mitzupah. It's because it's coded. And the reason why it doesn't come to him is it's only coded to the essence of the essential thing that it is. So tomorrow we'll continue off and finish off the rest. But again, the important thing to learn and to bring with ourselves is my actions don't define who I am. I'm above my actions. I have a Bittul Yid. I have an nefesh kiss. And my job is to reveal that connection. It's like a child and a parent. It's not, if I behave, then I'm your child. It doesn't work that way. You're the child, for better, for worse. But being that I love my parents, let me do good things. Let me behave nicely to them. But we could never. It'd be foolish to say, if I don't behave, you're not my son anymore. I can't say that. It doesn't work that way. So too with us and Hashem, we have to realize we're essentially part of Hashem. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean just I'm part of His family, but it means I have a nefesh l'kis. A nefesh l'kis is pure, pristine, neshama and Tetzaveh to him. We have this pure neshama. We have to recognize this. We have to tap into this. And this is what we're saying. This is, and even though we might do things, we might contaminate some kalim, but we always have this mizbeach. That's always good. Mitzvah Hashem to be finished tomorrow. Have a great day.